My mind is still blown that of all America, Brentwood, Tennessee was picked number one as a place to retire by this old house. I'm still wrapping my head around that. Number four is very interesting to me. Life expectancy is longer in Brentwood. What is up with that?
Sure, it's about 5 years longer, Clay, which I think is great.
We both live in Brentwood, as you know. We grew up here. It's just hard to believe that this is the spot, but I guess we take it for granted because I've been here so long. It really is a great place to live. So where do you want to start with this, Tucker?
Sure, I think we have to talk about the number one conversation we have with just about anybody, which is the lower tax risk. When you move here, most of the conversations are people paying property taxes for around $20,000, $30,000 a year. You're just not near that. You're going to be in that $4,000 to $8,000 range, depending on how many millions you've spent. We also don't have an income tax, which is always a benefit. And in some areas, you definitely talk to people that have high electricity bills and water bills just because it's lacking where they are. And that's what we see.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And number two on the list is going to be insurance. So what do people need to know about insurance, the insurance climate here in Brentwood?
Sure. So you can go to thisoldhouse.com and you can read this article. But number two is really climate risk. And it's the lowest risk being here. When we talk to people that are moving around any of the coastal cities, and they're moving to Brentwood or Franklin, you hear about having insurance issues, or they're paying $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 a year just to get that covered. So when you're going from that to $200 to $400 a month just for home insurance, that's a big adjustment. That really adds up in the wallet.
Yeah, we were on the phone the other day with an incoming client that is coming from Florida, and insurance just was a hot topic because they're dealing with it down there, and people are getting canceled. You have the hurricanes every year. It's hard to get insurance sometimes, depending on where the house is. And I was just like, gosh, we have got it good because we don't have those issues in Middle Tennessee. There's an occasional tornado, I will say, but not enough to where I really think about it ever. It's just not that common. And so we don't have, the major disasters that make these insurance prices go nuts, at least locally currently. So it's actually just, we have it pretty good. I kind of take it for granted, I think.
Oh, sure. Well, when you talk to people that are moving here and you hear the different stress levels that they're dealing with on top of everybody's already long list of stressful situations, that seems to be very overwhelming.
That's right. So number three on the list is safety. What do people need to know about safety in Brentwood, Tennessee?
Sure. A lot of people like Williamson County. It's a financially conservative area. We don't have homelessness. All that stuff is usually in different areas. So we just don't deal with that. But at the same time, it does show up. I think there's 9 events per 1,000 people or something, but we're just not seeing all the issues that other parts of the world are having right now. Again, we're not in the big city. We're a little bit out in the suburbs here, so we just have different issues.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, it's suburb life, and so we don't really see bus lines. We don't really see people walking the streets very often in the area of Brentwood. If you go to Metro Nashville, you see all the typical big city life, but in Brentwood you don't see quite as much of that, so it's just a little quieter.
I think the key points on safety, it's pretty, we're in the suburbs. We're just not dealing with big city issues here.
Number four is very interesting to me. Life expectancy is longer in Brentwood. What is up with that?
Sure, it's about 5 years longer, Clay, which I think is great. One of the things that you do notice in Brentwood, whether it's in our neighborhood that we live in or if you're anywhere near Concord Road, the access to the parks and all the trails, they all connect. So you can get on it near the YMCA, or you can go down to all the different parks and just jump on. And so, with that piece, people walk around, active lifestyle, you're going to live longer.
So you heard it here first, guys. If you move to Brentwood, Tennessee, you can live another 5 years, at least according to this study. So very interesting fact. I think it goes into things that stress people out. Really bad traffic, crime, all the drama and stress of life. There's less of that around Brentwood, Tennessee. And so I think people, have a little bit more of a peaceful life. There's lots of good churches. There's lots of places to enjoy your time. And so those things add up, in my mind, at least.
Well, and sure. And don't forget, you also have access to really good restaurants. I mean, Clay, how many times have we gone to the urban market right there in Franklin? It's right there on the Brentwood and Franklin line. Really good food, a lot of organic. You got a lot of juice bars and just different access like that. Also, You're surrounded by really good healthcare. On the north side, you've got Vanderbilt Medical Center. It's called the Hundred Oaks, and it's an outpatient area. It's a mall that just easy in, easy out. You have Williamson County Medical Center on the south side. So you have plenty of healthcare options to choose from, and they're just not that far away.
Yeah, healthcare is pretty strong locally. What else do people that were retiring in Brentwood like about Brentwood?
Yeah, talk about the Brentwood Library. What a gym. It's really big. There's some trails all around it, easy parking. It is gorgeous on the inside. And at any hour, you're going to see a lot of people in there. Just what a resource.
That's a really unusually nicely done building. So to me, Brentwood, you're between Nashville and between historic Franklin. So you really get the benefits of all the stuff that both those cities offer. And you're about 15 minutes from each one, depending on what part of that town you're going to. But you get the benefits of a major city in Nashville. Concerts, professional sports, all the restaurants, all the nightlife stuff is huge in Nashville, and it's right there, very easy to get to. And on the flip side, you have Franklin to the south, historic, quaint downtown, super charming, really nice boutique shops, just picturesque landscape with fields. It's just beautiful. And Brentwood sits right in between the two. So positionally, it's got really, really good things on both sides of it. And I think that's why a lot of people from the Middle Tennessee area choose Brentwood.
Sure, Clay. And one of the things that we keep bringing up Franklin, Tennessee is number 5 on this list from this sold house. So that's why we're trying to really combine the two. So, 20% of the list, you can make one flight over here, take a look and see what situation's right for you. 2
of the top places in America to retire are right here. I'm still pinching myself. This is crazy. But yeah, very true. And then I guess what else about Brentwood, while we're talking about good things that people can do, we do have really good shopping. We have, the Lululemon, Nordstrom Rack. This is on the north side of Brentwood. You're going to have several really nice restaurants. Mirabel's is one of my favorites, probably one of yours. Classic Southern dining right there, off the beaten path, but in an old historic mansion, and really, really well done salads, salmon, that kind of thing. Lobster bisque is really good there. What else, Tucker?
Well, sure. Actually, when my sister comes in from St. Louis and we go out as a family, we always go to Mirabel's. I go for the steaks, but that's really nice. If you're going to have a coffee shop, you really want to sit down. And there's a lot of people that do. They don't want to just go through the drive-through. Check out Crema. It's right there in the heart of Brentwood. There is seating options, but it's full because people are sitting down. They're having business meetings. They're enjoying each other. I would definitely check that out. Switching gears, why another people like to retire in this area is you have access to a major airport. It's easy to use Nashville Airport. You can fly pretty much anywhere you want in the world. You might have to do a leg out of Atlanta, Detroit if you're flying globally.
Man, I was just in the airport last week. The Nashville Airport has been completely redone, and it's absolutely stunning. I had no idea. I knew it had been under construction for several years, but it's like done now, and it's amazing. There's a hotel connected to it. There's all these local restaurants inside the terminal. You can go hang out and hear like acoustic live music in the airport. You can get hot chicken. I mean, I'm amazed what they did with it. They did a really, really great job.
Oh, sure. They took all the best in Nashville and just added it to all the different shops. Flew out of town this weekend for 12-year-old competitive soccer. So that's the world that we're in. So we go to that airport quite a bit. They've done a phenomenal job. They have additional options coming onto that airport. They have several more billion-dollar projects. You'll see more of this as a hub for you to fly internationally. So that's exciting. The other reason another people like to move here to Nashville, the Brentwood area, we have 4 seasons.
Man, that's right. And none of them are too harsh, which I like. Like we're, in the middle of winter, you may get a 50 or a 60 or a 70 degree day or a couple days of relief. It's not like you're riding out of winter for 3 months and you're freezing the whole time. That's not what's happening in Nashville and Brentwood. So you get 4 seasons, you get really pretty falls, all the leaves change colors. Like it's absolutely gorgeous in the fall. Spring, my personal favorite, I think, because it's mild and the sun's out and it's just really peaceful and pretty. Summer, it does get hot, it gets sticky, but by the time you kind of realize what's going on, it comes and goes pretty quick. Good reason to go jump in one of the lakes locally or in the river or wherever, or take a trip to, the west or whatever, but it doesn't last that long. So you really get the benefit of enjoying all 4 seasons, which you don't get in a lot of places in America.
Sure. I think the biggest challenge is typically August. That's when you really see the humidity kick in. And then the other piece is in the spring and when the pollen really breaks out. Nashville kind of sits in a bowl. So when the pollen starts to arrive, the wind doesn't really get to push it out of the city. It kind of sits here. So that is typically something that does pop up where clients do call us and say, boy, we're struggling and the Claritin's not working. And so we do kind of carry on that conversation with going to see an allergist. It doesn't happen all the time, but it is something that does pop up. Just going to swap over to there's things that I felt like the list missed. Just because it's a local aspect that we see. I was going to cover the first one is really what we saw was grandparents moving here to be closer to the children, or really the grandchildren. And that's the piece that we've really seen with the retirees. So yes, we do have 100 people moving a day, but it's really grandparents that are wanting to be close to their grandchildren.
Yeah, and I think that is again and again a common denominator. People want to be close to family in a lot of cases at certain points in life, especially. And, you know, a lot of families want to come raise their kids in Brentwood, Tennessee because of the quality of life and all the reasons we mentioned. And the grandparents want to follow them oftentimes. So finding those places where they can come enjoy and go to their kids' games and plays and birthday parties, like that's a big deal. And so one of our top picks is going to be West Haven in Franklin, actually. It's a walkable community. You got an amazing clubhouse. The grandkids are gonna want to come visit you at the West Haven clubhouse, the pools and slides. It's really, really out of this world. They've got pickleball courts. They have tons of stuff to do there. Big fans of West Haven. Be sure to check out our video about West Haven. But Tucker, there's other places too that are really good to retire locally as well. What else do people need to know?
Sure. And one of the reasons why the first group moves here is usually because of a job, but they move to Williamson County because of the school systems. And once the kids get integrated into the system, that's when the grandparents are really showing up. But one of the downsides that we see, or the challenges we see for Brentwood, is when retirees are moving here, what we have are really 1 acre lots. We have a lot of ranches. And the challenge is it doesn't really line up with exactly what they're looking for. Most people wanting one level living, 3,000 square feet, updated, and a lot smaller yard. That's something we're going to struggle with for several more years until those pieces really get changed. And so when you see that, that's when people go, hey, this price point is pretty high. Sometimes we go down to Franklin.
That's right. So Brentwood proper, you may spend $1 million and get a 70s ranch that you're not super thrilled about. Depend on your budget. Now, some people are going to tear down homes in Brentwood on 1 acre lots at $1 million to a low $1 millions and go back and build a new house and end up in it for, $4 or $5 million. That's definitely happening. But if that's not the plan that you're on, yes, a lot of people are going to migrate a little further south to Franklin, where you can find houses for 500, 600, 700, million, 1.5 all day long. So there's options that are not far away that are going to be really close to Brentwood and have, everything that Franklin has to offer people in Cool Springs and downtown Franklin. Everything you need is right there. So, and there's also a few communities, I will say also, that are developing that are specifically for 55 plus retirement. And so those are worth looking at too.
Sure. And West Haven has a 55 and up community. You also have Sunrise. It's right there in Cool Springs. So you have several options and several phases and then you have plenty of assisted living that most people don't want to talk about. They're looking to right size and be near grandkids. That's really the phase they're in. But you have those other questions about next steps. That's something we can talk about as well.
Yeah, that's right. And last plug, Water's Edge in Franklin. It's a really well done retirement focused area. It's not specifically just for retirees, but it's going to be those 1 level houses that are more modest in size, but new and in a good location in Franklin. So check out that video if you're interested in that. Tucker, what else is on our list?
Sure. So that's pretty much our list. I think the last thing I want to share is that the people that we see moving here that aren't in retirement age, maybe they're just young executives, they're moving here, they have children. When they move here, it's usually because of competitive sports or it's the school systems. There's plenty of options to choose from. We just need to find the one that's right for you.
Yep, that's right. And I gotta say, if you're into golfing, there's multiple golf courses in Brentwood and really close to Brentwood. So that's definitely, and there's some communities that have golf courses. There's several. We can get you a list if you want to call us or text us. We can help you find those places if that's your thing. And I will say also, if you're getting into pickleball in your retirement age, that is still up and coming. There are places to play. Hit us up and we'll let you know all about them. Tucker, anything else you want to add?
No.
Hey, want to say thanks for watching the video. If you got any value out of this, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about the market here in Nashville and Brentwood, Tennessee. I'm Clay, Tucker, the team and I, we get contacted every single day from people like you looking to retire, looking to move to Middle Tennessee, and curious what life is like here, and we love it. On this channel, we explore the different areas, the neighborhoods, and we try to help people understand what life is like here. So if that describes you, definitely get in touch with us. And until next time, hope to show you around town.